I'm talking about anxiety, and as everybody knows in here that I clearly have anxiety. Why else would I be talking about it? And anxiety is normal human emotion that everybody experiences at times, but anxiety disorder is different. It can cause such distress that interferes with a person's ability to live a normal life. People don't take anxiety as a big deal. They're like, oh, it's just in your head and you'll be fine, but it's not. Because people, like my symptoms, I break out in hives, I sweat, I shake, and I throw up, and I faint sometimes. But so people need to take it more more than that they usually do, because it's just more than what people think it is. And with anxiety, depression is its shadow. No matter what kind of anxiety you have, social, OCD, panic, anything, you're always going to be depressed. You're always going to have depression in the back of your head, and it's never going to go away. Anxiety is, how do I put this? Hold on, I'm freaking out right now. I need to take a deep breath. Anxiety takes over the thought process to the point where your head just goes insane. You can't think, you can't process things, you can't do anything. And it takes people away from the things that they want to do in life. Like, for instance, talking in front of people. For people with anxiety, like people that don't have anxiety and they give speeches and they nail it, okay, good for them. But people with anxiety, their presentation could be 10 times better, but once they get up here, they don't get to say everything they want to say because they get nervous and they just want to skip through it, and they just go through it really, really fast, and and it sucks for them because then they won't get the grade that they wanted to get, the grade that they deserved. And for example, like about people needing to know, I had this friend and she had a lot of mental issues, and one of them was anxiety, and her father did not care, and he just pushed it aside, and he didn't want to accept it. He didn't believe in it, and he just wanted nothing to do with it. And it took him over 3 years, and to the point that she ended up in the hospital, for him to realize and take consideration in it. And to this day, he still doesn't understand, but he's learning to accept it. And she's finally on medicine, and she's doing a lot better. And my father didn't want me being on medicine, so freshman and sophomore year, not good at all. I couldn't even give a speech in front of just my teacher without crying, and that was awful, and then I threw up. So, and I believe that teachers need to put it into more of a consideration, and that they need to have an alternative, that people with anxiety and people that have social anxiety that can't give speeches or do anything like that, they should have an alternative, because they deserve the grade that they deserve to get. And by giving a speech, they're not going to get a grade that they intended on getting, because they're going to get nervous and they're not going to say everything they wanted to say. They're just going to skip through things and then rush through it, and then their timing will be really short and they're not going to get through everything, and then it's not okay. And there's a lot of teachers that don't understand here. For instance, my uncle, Mr. Humpathal, calls people out all the time and just is a really big a-hole. And he needs to put it into consideration, because there's a lot of smart people in his class, but when he points them out and makes them feel stupid, they get nervous and they don't know he'll ask them the easiest question and puts them on spot, and then they get nervous and they don't know what to say, and then they feel stupid. And then he yells at them because they said a stupid answer. And that's not okay. Teachers shouldn't do that. Miss Pickell, freshman year, she hated me. She had no idea what I was going through, and once she figured out everything and once she realized and understood, she's like my diary. She knows everything. She helps me out with everything. I get away with a lot. I do. But people just need to put it into consideration, like depression. People need to realize and not say they're doing it for attention or anything, because they're not. Because, like depression, people don't do that they don't say they have that on purpose. Somebody can't just take a blade to themselves just for attention. Like, who honestly would make them want to make themselves bleed just for attention? You just have to think about that. Like, they're honestly mentally not well if they do that. And it's not just something they're doing for attention. It's much more than that. So I believe that people just need to start using their brains and realize, like, what if you were in that situation? What if you had anxiety like that? What if that was you? That's what you need to think about, because it's not easy for them. And they wake up every day fighting off demons and to survive, and they push through and just go through so much. Even if they don't have a bad life, they're still in their head, they're just mentally unstable. So let's raise a toast to all those with mental illnesses who get up out of bed every morning and spend every day fighting and don't give up. Here's to us, and here's to survival.